Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today we're starting the pea gravel portion of the pond build. We just got 5 tons of pea gravel dropped off here yesterday, so I have a good bit of this to work with. The last 4 days have been the same with no rain. We were supposed to get a little thunderstorm this afternoon, but it just passed right over us. I've been getting some evaporation out of the pond, and we've been growing some algae with this hot weather. But I just went through, did a little bit of a cleaning and some off of the waterfall. As you can see, there's still a good bit in there. But the koi and the goldfish that we just added last video have been loving it. They've been eating a lot of it off the rocks. Today we're going to be working on the pea gravel, which is going to be going all around that seating area and the fire pit, and everywhere you see gray stone right now, we're going to be covering it up with the pea gravel. That's going to be a lot easier to walk on with your bare feet in and around the water. Now I don't want to be walking out here or running or have the dogs run through and shift the gravel and then stir up some of the gray gravel underneath. So I got out this roll of commercial grade landscape fabric that I didn't use in the garden this year. I'm going to be using it here in between the gray gravel line and the new pea gravel. It's still permeable, so it's still going to flow down through the ground into my collection system and get pumped back into the pond to save all that water. And hopefully it's going to keep all the new gravel that I'm putting in right now nice and clean and weed free. Come, Pop, you ready to help? No? Going back in the shade? Okay, bud. The little patio pond's been doing really good in here. I really like the look of this one this year. I didn't get any fish for that one yet, so if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments down below. I stopped at the fish store the other day, but all I picked up was a feeder comet goldfish to add to the pond here to give the largemouth bass an easy snack if it was looking for one, so it wouldn't be eating on my goldfish and my koi that I just added. I got that all unplugged, so we should be good right now, but I just wanted to add a little bit of water since we didn't get any of the rain. There's all the little baby comet goldfish that I added yesterday. Seem to have a pretty good school still here, and the bass didn't eat them all. So the water's a little cloudy right now because I just went through and scooped out a bunch of algae, but that's going to settle out here pretty quickly. I clean the pond pretty much every Friday. I try to do that when I get home from work. That way we don't have a bunch of standing algae on top of the pond while we're out here trying to enjoy it for the weekend. I have a lot of these flat stone down for a little area here to sit around, so this is going to be easy to fill in with the pea gravel. And I'm not going to try and put the landscape fabric down since I already have all the larger stone down, but I am going to start with it by the staircase here and bring that landscape fabric out this way and cover as much of this open ground as I can with it. I think it's a 6 foot by 100 foot roll, but it is used, so I'm not sure if I cut it last year. So my plan is to mainly work the fire pit area around the stones and the bench, and then bring it out from the steps out to the pier, and then work the edging of the beach around that side, and then I can fill in this area a little bit later after that. That's going to give me a nice look at what the pond's going to be like whenever I get all the pea gravel in, and then at that point I should know if I have enough pea gravel to finish that off, as well as all the pea gravel I want to put in the intake bay and the bog filter. I want to cap that off so the water has to come through a finer layer of stone, and I need to add some into the And I want to add some to the bottom of the pond where I have the 2B river gravel, and that'll just fill in a lot of the little spaces there and make it easier on your feet when you're walking through the pond. Echo Pup's in the shade with a fan on him, just enjoying the day. So I'm going to get started out here in the sun and see how far I can make it today. Oh yeah, I can tell right now this is gonna look good. No, I'm not sweating, you're sweating. Well, this is turning out as good, if not better than I was imagining. We have the fire pit area done now, and I really like the way it's looking. It's really tying in all the other stone and the woodwork going around the pond, just making the whole thing look natural and all one unit. And this pea gravel is really making all these flat stones stand out a lot better. And it's already so much better to walk in your bare feet than all the chipped gravel with all the angles on it. Hey, the geyser's going. I am working it into all the edges around the pond, going all the way into the water, just like it would in nature whenever all the gravel gets washed in during a storm. That's where it would be, is all in the little crevices, filling all the big stones. So I already got a nice little chunk of this done. I think I only used like 12 5-gallon buckets of gravel so far, but this area over here is going to use a lot more. But I'm going to take a break, get out of the sun, and then we'll get back at it. All right, I think that's all I'm going to be able to get done tonight. It is dinner time, and then I'm going to be closing up the barn. My dad came out and helped me get some of this bigger area filled in, and we got a little bit around the edge of that beach. But I am loving the way this is looking already. Once we get a good rain, it's going to clean up the stone real nice. And I have to do a little bit of work with this under gravel here just to get some of the larger gravel out of there before we put some fabric down and make it nice and smooth going out that end. I'm going a little bit thinner with the gravel than I want to, just to make sure we have enough to cover the whole area. And then once we have the whole area covered, I'll come back in and thicken up some spaces, so whenever you step or kick some stones, you don't reveal the fabric underneath. And then I'll be using the pea gravel that's left over to fill in a lot of the edges around the stone and along the bottom, so it's easier on your feet. But I'd say this is a little bit more satisfying than even mulching the garden. I think it's really putting a finished look on the pond. So that's going to be all for this one. If you want to follow along with the finish of this pond, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit that like button before you leave, and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.